bop, bop, bop. Bop, 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 ba-doo, boop, boop, boop. Hello, chat. Chat, chat, chat. There we go. Ba 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 doo. All right. New game. Who dis? Roadwarden. I don't remember when I added this to my Steam wish list. I don't remember why 100%, but it looked cool, and I haven't really gone back and looked at it, but it looked kind of like it's a text-based adventure game. Yeah. So I mean, looks interesting, and I got it pretty recently. I think I got it for my birthday. So I'm gonna dive in, see what this Roadwarden game's about. Roadwarden. Everyone knows to stay away from the wilderness. Most people would never risk a lonely journey. Roadwardens not only accept this struggle, they embrace it. They deliver messages, assist merchants, burn human corpses, and, if possible, get rid of the beasts and highwaymen. They live on the road, die young, or retire early. It's a dangerous job, but a respectable one, and it pays well. So I can leave the safety of the city walls, or I can still have my doubts. Interesting. I think I'm going to have my doubts. I'm going to stay within the city for the moment. I still have my doubts. Oh, it brings you... Okay, I see. It just brings you back to the main menu. Okay, that's cool. Okay, new game. Yes, I leave the safety of the city walls. Pick a difficulty mode. This choice can't be altered later on. Okay, and advanced options. Switch to preset options. Okay. Casual, for those focused on the story. No time limit. More cash at the start. Some quests are more forgiving. Standard, for those familiar with RPGs. 40-day time limit. Regular rule set. Restrictive, for returning Roadwardens. 30-day time limit. Increased nighttime damage. I think I'll go with standard. Because I'm familiar with RPGs. And I'm curious what it's going to be. I know advanced options, time limit, nighttime damage, easier quests, like no time limit to unlock, skip the prologue tutorial, no coins at the start. What's the only start? Okay, preset options. We're going to go with standard. Happen to be in our DMs when you went online. Standard. The wall is still standing. There are no wolves around, no stench of blood. Good signs. This should be the place you're looking for. You were supposed to meet with a group of soldiers, but you hear no voices, no sounds of labor. The gate is ajar, but the camp isn't safe. It may keep away the goblins and pebblers, but not beastfolk, nor trolls, and the night is near. Your palfrey breathes heavily. It had a long day. I could just look for another shelter. I need to look around cautiously. I dismount and sneak to the gate. Let's peek inside. I get off the horse and enter the camp briskly. Let's look around cautiously. Considering the noise, you doubt that anyone noticed the clatter of hooves. The short, dry grasses barely cover the arid soil of this valley, but you're maybe a minute away from the edge of the sparse woods, which gets denser as they climb up the hills. At best, this trail has a few more years before getting overgrown for good. Hard to believe it's the only route north. Let's sneak up to the gate and peek inside. Your heavy boots hit the ground and the pain of the long ride finally catches up with you. You stretch out, bringing your back and legs comfort. All you want now is a table, a decent chair, a nice mug of beer, and some warm stew. With any luck, your axe won't be needed here. Take care of yourself. If you're hurt or exhausted, some actions won't be available to you. The weaker you are, the higher the chance you'll die in combat. My vitality is 3 out of 4. I feel well. Okay. I approach the gate slowly. If it's a military camp, it doesn't look the part. Plenty of wasted space. The fire pit is cold. 2 people are sitting at the table, tired and disheartened. They're looking in different directions, paying no attention to one another. One of them is holding a cup. After a moment, you notice the quiet humming. You recognize the melody of a light-hearted drinking song from the city harbor. They don't look like much of a threat. I think I can enter. It takes them a few breaths to glance in your direction. The first person greets you with a wave of his hand. There are bags under his eyes, his beard is messy. Despite his simple shirt, he's wearing durable, decent boots. A mace, with a head covered in iron, hangs at his side, but he doesn't reach for it. I take a look at the second soul. Just like you, she's wearing a gambeson, but hers is a bit loose, as if she took it off a corpse. Her head is shaven, as if she's protecting herself from flesh-eating bugs. Her eyes are weary, yet kind. She smiles. Considering the squad was sent here half a year ago, these two surely look the part, though there should be more of them, 8 if you believe. I can either let them speak first, or I can ask them about their lieutenant. I'm going to talk to them. You wonder how to phrase your question. Whenever you meet new people, you can influence how they perceive you by selecting one of the attitudes. I can be friendly, I can be playful, I can be distant, I can be intimidating, or I can be vulnerable. I think I'll be friendly. Hey, Brenda, how you doing, Demise? Let's be friendly and cordial. I was hoping to meet with your lieutenant. Could we talk for a bit? The woman lets out a sigh, dusts off her gambeson, and steps toward you. She pays little attention to the sword at her side. We most definitely can, you and I, though holding this rank is still somewhat new to me. Are you a messenger? Did you lose your mount? She observes you with curiosity. Or are you looking for help? I'm your new Roadwarden. My horse is waiting outside. Stopping by and saying hi before continuing your mental breakdown. Have fun. Oh no, don't have a mental breakdown. No, come back and have a breakdown with us. Oh no. Hey, look at this art. I'm gonna move myself over here, actually. Have a little Menti bee as a treat. We're gonna move over to this. Whoa. We're gonna move to this side. I feel like there's less clutter on this side of the screen right now. So, you know, there's less going on over here. If that changes, we'll move back over, but show off this art. I'll be fine. I'm talking to my boyfriend. He's already making it better. Ah, that's good. I'm your new warden. My horse waiting outside. Really? The soldier in the shirt leans forward. That explains how you got here in one piece. All by yourself. Better bring your beast here, adds the lieutenant. We have no hay, but I bet dreams of dropping its saddle. A long pause. I'm Tulia, by the way. She reaches out her hand. I can either shake her hand and introduce myself, or it may be a trap. I just prefer to stop pretending to be embarrassed. I should wash myself first, but you can call me. I think I can trust her. I'm going to shake her hand. Let's go with Silas. You can call me Silas. Her grasp is confident. The shake is slight. Just keep your horse away from the tents. She steps away. We don't need to smell its dung. There's this one issue. The soldier in the shirt also rises to his feet. We've no tent to spare. You have to use a blanket or something. No problem. I enjoy observing the stars, or I should get used to sleeping on the ground anyway. Look what I enjoy observing the stars. You walk through the gate. Your mount looks around and snorts anxiously. Not many humans could ride a horse. It's not only taller than you, but also bulky, as heavy as it is strong. You can get in the saddle within a single breath, but most people wouldn't know where to even begin. From every side, it's a wall of flesh. Horses were brought to the Dragonwoods from the conquests in the south. They can trot for a long time, but won't outrun some of the local monsters. Your palfrey needs you to survive, but without it, you too would be lost. I can go with it's my only companion here, and I want it to feel at ease, or I don't care how it feels, but I need it to be strong if I want to travel, and I can't afford another one. I want it to feel at ease. It takes a few steps towards you, scolding you with another snort. You scratch the bottom of its neck with strength and confidence, just the way it likes. Humans see useful animals, and even pets, as monsters in disguise. Getting emotionally attached to them is believed to lead humans to their doom. But you know that horses need companionship. I'll speak to it gently and lead it to the camp. You end up next to the fire pit. Removing the saddle makes the horse nicker with relief. You take a couple of minutes to examine its back, just in case. While the riding equipment is not that heavy for such a strong animal, with enough time it starts to chafe. You wish it had something better to eat than this shabby grass. You should look for an inn. I need to unpack. You haven't brought that many things, and you lost one of the sacks while fleeing from the Crimson Corpse Eaters. Worst of all, you have no rope left, but maybe the soldiers could share one. Shouldn't cost more than a dragon bone. Aside from the travel set, you own a very few valuable possessions, essential for your trade. Ooh, we get to pick what class we are here. Fighter. I spent my savings on decent combat equipment. I have a fine gambeson, an axe made of steel, and a reliable crossbow with quarrels. A mage. I have talismans that help me use my powers, as well as an iron axe and a worn gambeson. Or a scholar. I carry writing instruments and alchemical ingredients, as well as an iron axe, a worn gambeson, and a small healing potion. I want to learn more about these 3 classes. As a fighter, you'll have an easier time in physical challenges, thanks to your superior equipment, and hidden bonuses during dice rolls. You'll be physically more capable than the other classes, what opens unique opportunities during some social interactions. It's the best class for RPG beginners. The fighter's weakness is their reliance on physical strength. Your special abilities won't be available to you if your vitality points drop to 0. The mage uses Pneuma, a versatile but limited pool of energy points that can be spent to cast a few humble spells. Magic won't protect you better than a sharp axe, but as a mage, you'll be able to heal faster while resting, detect magic in a mysterious area, distract a beast with a simple trick, and find a common tongue with other magic users. Using the mage's powers too freely will result in having no Pneuma left when you need it the most. The scholar will know more about the world's mysteries than you, helping you take advantage of some unusual situations. Your character will impress the locals with their knowledge, and you'll be able to read the sparse written clues without anyone's assistance. Scholars struggle with combat more than the other classes, but with enough carefulness and exploration, you'll gain access to alchemical mixtures that will help you escape from many dangerous situations. All 3 of these sound very interesting to me. Being the fighter, it is the standard easy choice, but that doesn't mean it's boring. It does sound like an interesting pick. The mage has Pneuma magic, and that's a cool thing. It has better healing abilities and also better tricks to use, but they're not as able to be as capable in a fight as a fighter. And then the scholar struggles in both those areas, but knows more about the world. I think I might pick the mage. It's kind of like that balance between being able to use magic in this world and all that. Why is it saying none? What's saying none? What is saying none? What are you thumping my skull on the floor? What are you looking at, sentient? None. Your spells on roll 20? I mean, I wouldn't. Like if you've set your set up on roll 20. Also for spells, like if you don't own any content on roll 20, you're like not gonna have anything for spells. I can add them directly though. You just gotta tell me which ones you want, and I can script them in. But I mean, like you can use D&D Beyond for the game. That's fine. Just there's a bunch of things that you need to have in roll 20. But I mean, if you want to add in, spells, I can. Shocking Grasp. Are you trying to manually add Shocking Grasp? Looking at your. Okay. Well, you don't even have it in your spells. I'm over here looking at your stuff. Okay, let's get rid of this. You want Shocking Grasp, okay? So we go over here. Yeah, that's exactly what you're trying to do. Let me grab. We're gonna import spells. Boom, 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 boom. we're going to select all published spells. Bam. All right. Give me one moment. I am importing your spells. Or I'm importing spells. Don't worry about it. You just got to tell me which spells you want for your character. Obviously, you want Shocking Grasp. Give me a moment and I'll put that in. But here, let's be the mage. I'll pick the mage. You unpack and inspect your belongings. Your water skin isn't pierced. The spare clothes are still there, just in case you take... What's that? You take a look at your wooden bowl and mug, your cape, tinderbox, bandages, food rations, knife. Nothing special or too cumbersome. From time to time, your routine helps you avoid mistakes, but this doesn't make it any more exciting. Taking hits will damage your armor. You can then fix it in various settlements. Okay. Let's go to inventory. Unless you're occupied with another task, you can eat food, drink potions, and use your items from this menu. Be sure to click on each new item you receive, as some of them can have unusual applications. We have food rations. The fresh snacks spoil fast outside a cellar, while long-lasting foods are either expensive, like honey or dried meat, or require cooking before consumption, like beans or grains. Most travelers spend their nights in taverns, huts, and villages, where they can trade for cheap, warm meals or even leftovers for free. As a result, food rations are eaten only when necessary. Nourishment 2 out of 4. You experience no penalties or bonuses. Okay, merchandise, about with coins. When it comes to trade, there's barely any connection between Holven's marketplaces and the inns of the countryside. While city officials keep track of the value of different goods and oversee the legitimacy of used coins, the villagers prefer to barter or exchange their resources for work or other favors. A single coin is worth quite a lot among merchants. It allows you to stay and eat in a shoddy city tavern for about 5 days. For 10 coins, you'd buy a decent bow. For 20, a sword. And for 100, a squad of mercenaries will be willing to face a family of trolls. Now, let me just grab... Cantrips, first level, second level, third level, fourth level, fifth level, sixth level, seventh level, fifth level, okay. Shocking Grasp. There. I've added Shocking Grasp to your character sheet, and now, yeah. Attack spellcasting 1d8, none. Why is it? Let me just see here. Do I need to have a pair? Oh, your spellcasting ability wasn't set. That's why. There we go. There. Just didn't have your spellcasting ability set. Oh. Hold on a second. Why is it whispering? Advantage toggle, whisper toggle. Auto roll. On. There we go. Okay. Reminder to self, I need to go to all of the different characters and make it so that they have the right toggles on. Because it looks like I don't have all the correct toggles on everybody. So that they have the right things. The right things. Advantage toggle, whisper toggle. Oh, that one's done. Okay. Oh yeah, Dr. Frank makes sense that he would be like that because that's Filibuster. And Filibuster knows what he's doing in Roll20. Not a roll. Add that there. Core. And then Namara. Advantage toggle, whisper toggle, auto roll, on. Okay, back to the game. At least one of you does, yes. Back to what I was doing. And I will do your spells later. Okay, a gambeson. Padded jackets are an essential piece of any armor set. They protect the wearer's chest, abdomen, arms, and thighs. The lighter jackets, called akatons, are worn under heavier sets made of alloys or chitin, while the thicker ones, known as gambesons, are worn alone. They are relatively easy to make, and while not all travelers can afford them or wear them for hours without getting tired, they are commonly used by guides, mercenaries, and soldiers. Your armor is not in the best shape and could use some additional work. This is dried meat, crackers, nuts, seeds, fruits, and water, which boil slowly and doesn't require additional cooking. City artisans make coins by cutting dragon bones into slices. They are valued by merchants, though rarely used in the countryside. A padded defensive jacket made of linen and filled with rags is the cheapest type of armor. It's surprisingly effective, and as a result, very common. Magical amulets. Magic is unreliable, so you spent a sack of coins to collect a couple of enhancing amulets. They help you focus your pneuma in ways that you don't quite understand. Magical amulets. A satchel that includes the thick leather pendant with a single pearl covered with cryptic engravings. You use it for simple tricks involving light. The clean linen bandage soaked in old herbal balms. You use it to heal fresh, minor wounds. A couple of wooden spheres. They get warmer when put nearby an unusual amount of pneuma. The wand made of a willow branch, partially filled with quicksilver. It helps you channel your magical blasts. And your lucky button. The travel set. Your set contains all sorts of useful tools. All sorts of odds and ends that you've taken on the journey, just in case. A rainproof cloak, a set of bone needles and a thread, an iron knife, a blade sharpener, a tinderbox, and a couple of tallow candles. A bunch of rags used to make torches, as well as a flask of oil. A pair of protective gloves made of thick leather. A simple battle axe. Traveling with an axe shows that you've learned how to fight humans and human-sized monsters. It's not masterfully made, but it's already been put to the test that you practice with it for many days. Axes made of metals or alloys are among the most common weapons used by travelers. Isn't there a lurk command? Oh. There used to be one. Not as safe as spears, not as fancy as swords, but their powerful strikes can get through animal shells, scales, or thick furs, as well as most armors. They are not great when it comes to parrying, but a single strike may be enough to leave a devastating wound. Still, the vast majority of them are used by lumberjacks, farmers, or carpenters, and pretty much every household in the countryside owns at least one, just in case. Their shapes, sizes, and used materials vary. Heads are made of stone, especially flint, bones, chitin, and massive seashells, while handles are almost always made of wood, antlers, and leather straps. Okay. I return to the soldiers. They're at the table again, observing your beasts and chatting between themselves. Your stomach growls at the sight of them eating out of wooden bowls. One more bowl was put at a previously unused end of the table. You can sit down on a tree log. I can join them and take a look at the meal. I can thank them for the meal, but don't want to eat with them, and ask Tulia what she can tell me about the area. Or I can completely ignore the meal and sit down and speak to Tulia. I'm going to join them and take a look at the meal. It's cold gruel, the meal eaten in times of hardship. This specific bowl is filled with water, hog millet, some strange-looking cereals, and blueberries. Welcoming you with a meal, even a humble one, is beyond their duty. Soldiers live with and for their companions, constantly on the move from one part of the realm to another, making sacrifices to protect their group as they face dozens of hideous creatures. Their lives are filled with discipline, hardship, and camaraderie. Roadwardens, on the other hand, learn how to work by themselves. They seldom engage in open combat, patrolling the same roads for years. They help the settlements stay in touch, but also maintain commerce, settle down, forge friendships. When there are no laws to follow, they use their own judgment. Different responsibilities, different lifestyles. Keeping your stomach full will make you stronger. Starvation won't allow you to restore vitality while resting. You can find your supplies in the inventory. Okay. I eat quickly, not focusing on the taste, then speak with Tulia. Nourishment 3 out of 4. She's focused and chooses her words carefully. She looks away only when she gathers her thoughts. I'm afraid I can't tell you less than I would like to. I'm afraid I can tell you less than I would like to, and less than I should. She nods towards the other soldier. As you can see, there's not a lot of us left. At the beginning of the summer, there were 8 of us, including our previous lieutenant. 5 are dead, 1 has run away in tears. We're also strangers in this land, adds her companion. Any piece of information may help me do my job. The man leans forward, his legs shake nervously. He sounds like a kid asking a bard to sing one more story, tell a joke, or do a magic trick. Whatever it takes to escape from boredom. His untrimmed beard hides a much younger face than you originally thought. What did the officials tell you? I expect not that much. No soul govern these lands. I can share what I consider to be relevant, or what I discuss with the officials to stay between me and them. I will share what I consider to be relevant. You tell the soldiers how little guidance you've received, since this area is too far away from Hovlavan to keep under control. You were warned that it's untamed and unknown. Who knows how many villages, bandits, or monsters may be found in these unmapped hills and forests. From time to time, new people come here to look for boundless opportunities. Most of them never return. Do they turn into walking corpses, or find what they're looking for? No soul could tell me, so I was looking for your guidance. The lieutenant drinks from her cup and crosses her legs, ankle on knee. Seeing her chair makes you doubt she'll ever find a comfortable position. Where should we start? Before I continue my journey, I need to ask about the peninsula, the Roadwarden, and the rope. I will ask in order. What should I know about the peninsula? I'll tell you what I know, and you'll be the judge, says the lieutenant. How long did it take you to get here from the city? On a decent palfrey, I guess it would be 3-4 days. When you confirm, she continues, from here you can reach the coast in about a day, as long as you don't make any stops. Do you know the situation? Why no ships can get there? You nod. The sea route allows Hovlavan officials to keep in touch with the coastal villages, collect taxes, move the soldiers, collect lumber, deliver tools. But maintaining order on a wild coast, such as this one, is like filling the ocean depths with coins. Because of the rocks, you can hardly stop a ship 5 miles from the shore, and boats can't get much closer. She nods. I don't know about much fishing, but there's not that many people living by the shore, and they don't crave to stay in touch with the city folk. As she pauses, her companion carries on. No soul from the north ever came to camp, but when we travel to the roadside inn, Health of the North, we're happy to trade and play dice. Why not just stay at one of the settlements? The man clears his throat. I mean, you know, we're to guard this road. This camp is our post. And, well, he turns towards Tulia. She lowers her voice. Don't take it the wrong way, Silas, but are you a devout soul? Ooh, interesting. So we can go from the bottom up. There's no evidence of the right's existence, and all the mystical tales are explained by magic. No, I'm not. I have a strong connection to nature and spirits and follow the path of my ancestors. Some of my beliefs may be considered sinister and treacherous by the city folk. You'd probably call me a pagan. I'm from a small village. For me, the freedom of shell, pneuma, and soul are the main virtues of my life. My community is unique and independent, and so are its members. I have a place in my fellowship. For many years, I've supported a monastery that does its best to advance mankind's spiritual growth, artistry, herbalism, and magical research. I follow the teachings of an order of truth. Or, like most city folk, I believe that people should unite their strength to overcome the threats of nature and dark magic. Everyone will be judged for both good and evil deeds. I am a part of the United Church. My character's a mage. I think... What should we go with? Because I feel like this is going to be an important decision later. Basically choosing what is your character's faith. And on the spectrum of, are they part of the United Church? Are they following an order of truth? Do they have a place in their fellowship? Are they a pagan? Or are they just completely a non-believer? Being a mage, you know what? Well, kind of, I'm picturing them as kind of like a. It could be interesting. I'm quite curious. You know what? We're gonna go with the Order of Truth. Magical research. You can see this character doing that. Let's follow teachings of an Order of Truth. Oh, I see. She hesitantly looks away. I don't know much about that river of faith, but I'm sure we're not that different. I'm a Unite myself, she says with a sort of pride in her voice. So she follows the United Church. Or maybe just explain what you were thinking of. The people here are disquieting. Every few words, she taps the table with her finger. Their traditions won't help them negotiate with the officials. Here, she starts to draw lines with her index finger, as if she's pointing to an invisible map. The peninsula is connected with roads like a big circle. In the northwest, you'll find a weird village at a bog. It's not exactly pagan, I don't think. It even has a priest who claims to be an eremite. You nod. She means a fellowship. They do crazy shit, her companion chimes in. They use the dead to cut down trees and dig in soil. Once I saw it, I begged to never return there. I see. You've heard tales such as this one since you were a child. If isolated settlements manages to survive without a city's influence, its customs and traditions grow more and more alien. Every generation learns how to adapt to the dangerous conditions they have to deal with, and the rustic pagan traditions muddy their river of faith. The United Church often warns its members about the crazy druids, necromancers, and blood mages, the bringers of doom, the traitors to humankind. Were you able to speak with these necromancers? And how about these? Any monsters worth mentioning? Anything that could catch my mount? That's all I need to know. Let's talk about the necromancers. You can see why we were not eager to go there if we could avoid it, the lieutenant chuckles. Maybe they'll be more welcoming to a Roadwarden. The roads are dangerous, with little to no shelters. People need your help. The man in the shirt turns a bit and points a finger to the northwest. If you're heading to the undead village, you'll need to get an inn first, and soon. Julia nods. Fell to the north is a safe place. You can talk with the innkeep or guards, ask them about the road. And how about the east? She stares off across the camp. Hard to tell. We went there only once. There are hills, forests, rivers. We saw a tunnel sculpted in leaves and branches, but we didn't enter it. Wilderness all around. Any monsters worth mentioning? We saw all sorts of beasts. The man starts to count on his fingers. Goblins, treants, cats and large and small, runners, howlers, wolves, spike boars, mouflon eaters, griffins, but we managed to stay away. Some could catch up with most mounts. Julia glances at her companion, though a palfrey should be fine. The trees are so tall that the flying creatures keep to the coasts and mountains. There's not that many humans around, and the animals are busy fighting among themselves. They fight more for food than territory. The soldier cracks his knuckles. Don't provoke them and ride fast. Just count on luck. That's all I need to know. What happened to your squad? The man shrugs. Bandits happened, then monsters. A strong band, though, his companion chimes in. When we got to the peninsula in spring, we saw some people living in this camp. The lieutenant decided to avoid it and look for an inn. We had to travel through the night for a bit. The bearded soldier scoffs and crossed his arms, but she carries on. If he had decided otherwise, we all would have died that day. The innkeeper explained that the camp is a trap, that the armed ones pretend to be soldiers. Stay there at night, lose everything you have. Holy shit. Sounds like slave hunters. Tulia sighs. Very much so. They killed some and took others away, who knows where. They were letting the northerners go, hoping to avoid their wrath. Kind of worked, adds the soldier. We asked them for help, but they refused. We had to clear the entire camp on our own, and that's why 3 of our people died. Don't exaggerate. It's not that the lieutenant didn't make a mistake. He wanted to get rid of them and take over their camp, but we didn't know our enemy well enough. We were outnumbered, and they had an ice mage among them. She looks at you. At least we cleared the road. Saved lives. You mentioned monsters as well. Nothing that would surprise you. Those of us who survived the skirmish were young. Too inexperienced to spend a summer in this place without a good leader, and they didn't trust me. One of them got caught by a treant. Another one ignored my orders to perform some sort of ritual hunt, so a werebear tore her to pieces. The last one tried to act tough. Didn't tell us he had cut his hand while cleaning his gambeson. She let out a ghastly chuckle. We had to cut it off, and he was so ashamed that he decided to walk north, find a new life, disappear. Idiot. What a colorful journey. The man tries to drink from his mug, but it's empty. You've made this place safer. Barely. Tulia seems tired. And who knows if it was worth the lives and effort. Tulia, how did you become a lieutenant? It's not much of a story, honestly. She looks at her hand, which is currently rolling a mug over the table. In the city, there's a strict order of, what should I call it? She exchanges looks with her companion, but he can't help her. Well, leadership succession, I guess. Hovlevan's chief selects commanders, those select lieutenants, and those put their soldiers in order of priority. If a lieutenant dies, they get replaced by the next soldier in line. So you were his successor? Not exactly. When we fought the bandits, our lieutenant was hit by a slingshot. His boyfriend jumped to help him, but failed to protect either of them from a spell. It was like a ball of ice that hung above them and exploded, piercing their heads, completely avoiding their shield. Really unpleasant. She pauses. And you were the third one in line, is that right? Basically, yeah, she says without enthusiasm. I didn't plan to become a leader, though. I'll get demoted once we return to the city. I prefer to follow anyway. Any ideas what happened to the previous Roadwarden? Julia takes a deep breath. Aren't you a bit late for a rescue mission? We haven't heard from him almost half a year. The soldiers speak for a bit between themselves, trying to get their story straight. They confirm that he stopped by their camp a few times, but stopped showing up at all in early summer. The bearded soldier starts to scratch the table with the tip of his knife, without looking at you. I don't remember his voice. Always busy, drowning in things to take care of. He would sit somewhere, sharpen his sword, fix his loud mail, clean clothes, write notes on that wax tablet of his. Yep, and leave it done. Unlike us, Asteria never gets bored. Julia lets out a joyless chuckle. He's secretive, but some of the locals speak about him warmly. Maybe he just doesn't like us. Sounds like you're not sure if he's dead or not. If anyone knows, they won't tell us. Maybe someone is keeping him in a basement. The man cars with passion. We haven't seen him, or his Saurian. Something ate them, I bet. The officials have hired you, right? They don't expect him to return. Richer Roadwardens often use four-legged, meat-eating Saurians as their mount. They have to be tamed and trained since they're hatching, but unlike horses, can easily defend themselves from any monsters. At least your palfrey is fast and reliable, and won't suddenly sink its teeth into an innocent passerby. Do you know what he was looking for? Maybe he left you a message? Neither one of us had any insight into his dealings, said Julia. My predecessor left me no clues. We also took a look at Astarian's stuff. Wait, she raises her open palm. I nearly forgot. She stands up and heads to a nearby tent. He has kids in a village near Hovlevan. I was planning to take all his things there. A pouch, a second spear, decent bow, some potions, quite a treasure. She glances at you. But I would much prefer to bring them the truth about their father. So you want me to find out what happened to him in exchange for his stuff? Here's the catch. She dusts off the hilt of her sword. We've hired a messenger to ask the commanders for further orders. Since she hasn't returned, and you know nothing about her, she either ran away or something happened to her. She sighs with resignation. We are meant to stay here until fall. What do you think? Come see us, tell us what you learned about the man, and we'll get back to Hovlevan together? You think about your real mission. You were planning to return to Hovlevan in the early fall anyway. If he's alive, I don't think he's going to be happy about me taking away all of his possessions. True, but he's considered dead. I doubt he'll begrudge you anything. Who knows? You may just find his shell lying on the roadside tomorrow. He wears mail, uses a spear, mostly. Maybe 5 feet tall, but stout. Long red beard, short hair, pale face. Rarely smiles. She glances at her companion, but after he adds nothing, she sits down and stretches out her legs. So, find out what happened to him. Dead, alive, left. Just let me know. Use your journal to see a list of quests. A winged hourglass. Hidden. Steel pendant hanging from a leather strap. It's common to wear such jewelry to demonstrate one's allegiance to the right. The winged hourglass was adapted by the largest religions of the 10 cities. The United Church, the Orders of Truth, and the majority of fellowships. It's used in temples and funeral rites, but also to decorate expensive codices or pieces of clothing. Not every soul who wears such a trinket in a visible place is a devoted believer, but it can be seen as a sign of solidarity with the more conservative section of the city culture. Emblems like this one are meant to portray the formality of life and the rigidity of time. The traditional pendants are made of steel, signifying the strength of humankind's determination and innovation. Wright's tablets highlight the important role of iron when it came to fighting monsters and expanding the lands of the tribes. Other materials, such as bone, gold, or even wood, are also used, though various communities interpret such alterations in their own ways. The pendants made of steel are not so contentious. Interesting. I would like to know her squad's mission. Lieutenant looks into your eyes. You know, the usual. Making the road safe, keeping people alive. I explain that it may be important for me to know what they have tried to accomplish. I can't really tell you. You sense no hesitation. Do you have any other questions? She doesn't trust me enough to tell me about her squad's mission. Anything I should know about this camp? The story is brief. Some merchants built the camp to have an extra stop for mules and donkeys, just between the inn and the southern villages. There's plenty of grass here, and a pond nearby. When the peninsula grew more dangerous, the camp stood abandoned, from time to time serving as a shelter for travelers. The bandits came here in spring, further paralyzing the exchange of information between the northern and southern settlements. Since these highwaymen are no more, the situation may reverse. Time will tell. You can sleep here when you want, the man concludes their tale, though don't expect to wake without pain in your back. If you were me, where would you go next? The soldier answers quickly. To the inn, of course. He grabs his empty mug. The one northwest from here. If you can't afford the room, the main hall is free of charge. The locals rarely gather there. The northern road is much more traveled, mentions Tulia. But the hunters will tell you about this and that, and you'll have a chance to introduce yourself. The innkeeper can listen and knows many souls. Any tips on how I can make a good first impression on him? She smirks. Avoid cheap jokes, stick to trade, and don't waste his time. Show him that you can be relied on. I lost my rope. Could you spare one? You're in luck. She heads toward one of the crates and moves aside a large linen sack, revealing a rope. She brings it back and nonchalantly sits down on her chair. Take it. I was planning to leave it behind. I take a closer look. A fine rope. A regular rope made of hempen fibers. I take it and offer some food in return. I received a rope. Tulia nods. For now, you leave the rope on the table. It's getting late. We should prepare for the night. Can support the weight of 4 people with their traveling equipment. Making a rope takes a lot of time and involves complex tools that combine thousands of fibers harvested from plants, mostly hemp, linen, or straws. Since it doesn't take much skill and can be handled even by children, it's rare to find an artisan who would specialize in twisting them all day long. Ropes are much more durable than leather strips and are used for all sorts of things, though their durability doesn't make them a common merchandise. They can be heavy and awkward, so it's common for groups of travelers to share a single one among all of them during their journey. I agree, Tulia sighs with relief. And may you do better than Astarion did. Stay vigilant. She winks at you, shattering the mask of a soldier. You can read text in the archive. Interesting. Thank you for your help. One more thing, if I can. The bearded man approaches you. You take the first watch. Splitting time between 3 people makes a great difference. You think for a moment. To fully rest, you need a good sleep. Sure, leave it to me or I'm exhausted. They've been helpful. I'll help them. Fabulous. He pats your shoulder. It should be calm, at least before midnight. Wake me up in a few hours, or even earlier if anything happens. I smile. I'm happy to do my part. You go to the barrel and splash water on your face, which makes you even more aware of how much you need a bath. After the night, it will only get worse. Your horse is already napping, still too anxious to lay down. Stay tidy to have a better chance to influence others. I prepare for my watch. The soldier in the shirt is eager to guide you. Just observe the area. There's plenty of griffins around, though they won't try to jump over the palisade. Probably. Better watch out for the apes. They climb up and carry away any food they find. And there's this one really loud were-elk that keeps smelling the wall, though it has never tried to get in. He points at a gate. The lieutenant and I will block the entrances. They're quite heavy, so if anyone comes here looking for shelter, better call us to help you out. And if this someone is being chased by wolves or anything, better throw them the rope instead. He scratches his head. If it gets cold, feel free to make a fire. And the best place is on the watchtower. You may want to put a blanket there or something. The watchtower? He gives you a long, puzzled look. Oh, here! He points at the pile of crates. Just climb up to the tallest one. You'll have a great view of the northern side, the more dangerous side. And also, I know you're tired after all that riding. He points at the tent on the other side of the camp. I can handle a couple hours sleeping on the ground, if you wish. Go there after me and rest. Just this once. At least I have a pallet inside. I smile. Thanks a lot. You put your blanket on the tallest crate and sit down. The night is warm, but the sporadic summer breeze brings gentle refreshment. From time to time, your back aches, and you have to force yourself to keep your eyes open. The light of the moon helps you focus on the tall grass. For most of the time, you spot smaller critters and birds, but there are exceptions. At one point, you see a 3-horned deer trying to challenge one another. Before they clash their antlers, a 2-legged dragonling appears, leading its much smaller offspring. The furry beasts try to intimidate the predator with roars and aggressive head movements. After a few moments, both sides walk away slowly, not willing to risk the fight, nor to admit their defeat. I don't let it distract me. I keep looking around. You hear the death screams of distant prey and the mating calls of monkeys. Runners are chasing a gray hare. A group of musk oxen lazily chews the grass, preparing themselves to sleep. A dusk fox is running together with a lynx, making playful screeches. Thankfully, you never have to intervene. You just sit there, watching the not-so-distant forest, trying to outlast your sleepiness. You can only guess how much time has passed. Once you feel you've had enough, you climb down and go to a tent, waking up the bearded man with just a couple of words. You confirm that nothing important has happened. I gather my things and squeeze into the tent. I use my bag as a pillow, put my blanket on the pallet, and cover myself with my cloak. Sleeping in a tent is not the stuff of dreams, but it's a much welcomed rest. The pallet keeps the cold soil away. The moonlight saves the outside world from the eerie gloom. You listen to your own breath and find a comfortable position. Your job starts tomorrow. I focus on the real goal of my journey. New journal entry: explore the peninsula. The Merchant Guild wants to take control of this realm. Your wandering duties are secondary. First and foremost, you need to explore the peninsula. Learn about the territory, resources, and threats. Get to know the locals, and if you can, convince them to consider negotiations with Hovlanen officials and traders. Could the tribes resist the soldiers, or be a threat to the priests of the United Church? Are there any forbidden practices that need to be eradicated, such as blood magic, necromancy, robbery, or slavery? At least I have time, 40 days to be exact. I need to be as thorough as I can. Once you finish your reconnaissance, you should speak with Tulia and return to Hovlavan. There, you'll report back to your employers and get your reward. In the meantime, you have your own goal to pursue. Let's see what this is. I need to gather some extra coins so I can save my sibling from debt collectors. I need to gather some extra coins so I can retire early and live in prosperity and safety. If I gather enough connections among the local leaders, I'll use them to become a major player in the Merchant Guild. I want to be remembered as the soul who brought peace and order to this realm. A hero. I just want to help people. Make this region safer for the locals and the newcomers alike. I need to find a new life for myself. I have a difficult past and I want it to be forgotten. I like this one. I want to help the people. Make this region safer. New entry: help others. New shelter unlocked. Your half-asleep senses are catching the sounds of the wild forest. Your instincts keep you alert and anxious, though the pleasant, humid late summer air evens it out slowly. Yet traveler in the night, press sleep button to rest. You're thinking about your goal, but you need to gather your strength. All I can do now is rest. Numa, you can use your magical amulets to cast minor spells. This is cool. I like this. This game is neat. Let's check my inventory again. Okay, so I didn't get any new things. Let's sleep. You can spend the night in a borrowed tent. It's nothing special, but it will protect you from the wind and rain, and the ground won't be painfully hard nor cold. Sleep. You take a look at your amulets. For most people, they would be nothing more than trash, but you wouldn't sell them for a pouch of dragon bones. You can use them to shape Numa to your will. With these little mementos, the few spells that you're familiar with are far more reliable. Who knows, maybe there's already some power held in them. You look at the old, though clean bandages that remember dozens of herbal balms and wounds. You can put them on your hurting muscles, bruises, and scratches, then hum an old song about time, which either heals all wounds or kills us too soon to let us bother with our problems. After a few hours or so, the linen will warm up, confirming it did its job. The tent may not be much, but your spell would make you feel as good as new, though you lose some of your energy. I don't need to restore my Numa tonight. I perform the ritual. I'd rather keep my soul stronger than my shell. My vitality, my nourishment. I feel... I'm going to keep my Numa for tomorrow, because I don't know what the day will bring. And I'm at good vitality, so we're gonna keep my soul stronger than my shell. You've woken up by sunlight, well rested and ready. Without haste, you gather your things. After only a couple of breaths, you notice a weird smell like a roast. No, burning meat. Burning, rotten meat. Disgust crawls into your consciousness. You exit the tent. Your horse is looking around nervously. Your bags are where you left them. You see an open gate. Let's go outside to see what's happening. Both soldiers are standing near a humble pyre. The man in the shirt looks at it contemplatively. Tuli is the first one to address you. Silas, she greets you with a nod. We use the horse's manure for the flames, so don't worry about cleaning it up. You see a corpse among the flames. It's impossible to tell if it belongs to a male or female, but it was an adult. The burning process won't be over for a couple more hours. A traveler or an undead? The latter, a young one. She lacked the Numa to understand that she couldn't get inside the camp without climbing. I stabbed her with a spear, from a safe distance. She shifts her weight. One more fog and she'd be a real threat. Even now, it took a couple of hits to knock her down. Sooner or later, every human shell wakes up, gaining more strength with each soul it devours and each moment it spends in the fogs. Burning the dead is not just a religious practice. It's a necessity. Soldiers, priests, village mayors, even road wardens. Making a large pyre takes a lot of time, but it saves lives. Tulia calls the undead a she. Most Unites hesitate to do so. Time for me to leave. Run away from the reek, huh? I don't blame you. She walks with you a few steps. Find us here if you need us, or if you learn what happened to Astarion. There's enough ground here for you to rest. Safe travels. These words make you stop. An old farewell, mocked in a number of songs and tales, but yet you hear no scorn in Tulia's voice. You wonder how many acts of kindness like this one you're going to experience in the days to follow. She returns to the pyre, and I prepare myself for the journey. Use the travel button to see the map and move to another area. Cool. You somehow miss the fact that your mount is already saddled and warmed up. You double check the equipment, but you don't need to fix anything. The soldiers were diligent. Normally, preparing any palfrey for a long journey takes a lot of time. You put on your gambeson and make sure your axe is tightly attached to your belt, then get in the saddle. The palfrey knickers, ready to leave. It's time for you to get to the crossroads, north from here. I need to ride north. Now let's check my journal. 39 days before autumn. New note. Quests. Help others. While I'm here, I want to help people. Find the Roadwarden for the peninsula. Starion, the previous Roadwarden. Oof, excuse me. Pelt's Innkeep. And Tulia. Group some places. The city of Hovlavon, one of the greatest harbors in the Dragonwoods, in the heart of the northwestern province of the 10 cities. I was hired by its officials and merchants. According to Tulia, the chief selects commanders, lieutenants. Okay, bestiary. Apes and monkeys. Beast folk, corpse eaters. Oh my god. Holy shit. Wow. There's a lot here. Oh my goodness. There's a lot going on there. Okay, let's ride north. Let's travel. Travel forward to continue your journey. Once you're done with the north, speak with Tulia to return to Hovlavon. Okay. Travel north. Even at a later hour, you wouldn't expect to meet any travelers in the valley. The warm summer breeze lures your mount forward, but the serene chirping of birds is quickly replaced by the distracting screeches and gurgles coming from further down the path. You soon find the pack of four-legged griffins. They're larger than foxes and merge the features of birds and furred beasts. Each one is of a different size, coat, and colors, and their temperaments are just as varied. Their fronts are covered with vivid feathers, while their rears have darker fur. Their wings are massive, making them impressive jumpers, but they're too heavy to fly. About 24 beasts are yelling, brawling, and chasing each other around, blocking your path. I consider my options. You can't enter the forest blindly. If these or other creatures were to chase after you, the thicket would be disastrous for your horse. There are reasons why travelers stay as close to the main roads as possible, and why adventurers move in groups. Usually the safest approach would be to stay where you are and just wait for the pack to get hungry. It may, however, take up to a couple of hours. You're thinking about your conversation with Tulia. You got a lot to do, and time may be of the essence. If you have enough Pneuma, you can cast spells to access unique interactions. The icon marks the actions that involve random chance. I take my axe and hurry the horse. If we ride fast enough, we should be fine. I should stay here, better safe than sorry. Let's check my spells. I grab an amulet and shape a missile of light. Harmless flare to frighten them off. We can spare some Pneuma. You grab one of your oldest amulets. A pendant made of leather and a single dim pearl. The little sphere is covered by cryptic engravings, but there's any special meaning behind them. You were never able to find out what it could be. Holding the pearl between your fingers, you feel a pleasant, familiar warmth. The spell you were about to cast is not much more than a mere illusion, but you take a couple of breaths trying to minimize any risk of failure. The Pneuma leaves your shell formed into a white ball that you barely comprehend. When it falls next to the griffins, for a couple of blinks, it emits a dazzling light. The animals squeak and snarl, fleeing in multiple directions at once. The road is now clear. I ride forward and enjoy the touch of my pendant. It cools down slowly. Spells. You can spend Pneuma to overcome challenges with wands and amulets. Healing ritual. Whenever you sleep, you can spend Pneuma to restore your vitality. Faith undetermined. Ah. Seeker. Member of the Order of Truth. Pneuma. Alright. Let us... Oh, I hear a baby crying. Let's save the game. And I will be... Okay. Let's ride forward. Keep track of your achievements. I used to be a mage. The road splits. According to what the soldiers have told you, you may find a safe inn by turning left. The forest to the right is lush, and the trail overgrown. Kids used to have this song. How did it go? The harshest pathway leads to the dragon's lair. Those who search for treasure, do you truly dare? The signpost in front of you doesn't make your situation much clearer. It was put here by someone who can't write, for folks who can't read, covered in old red plate. It points east, blood there. As people say, danger to be found. There's not a soul to ask for guidance. I look at my horse. My horse is amazing. What is its name? Sadal? Well, that's an interesting name. Sure, we'll go with Sadal. Sadal is peaceful as you stroke its mane. Maybe it can't help you choose a path, but you've spent many years together. Happy to go on, it takes a couple of steps forward. You spot a few berry shrubs and wild cabbages, but they still need at least 2 weeks to gain maturity. Time to make a turn. So to the west is the inn. To the east, who knows? Let's go to the inn. Sadal trots with ease, unbothered by the few branches covering the beaten road. The birds' songs and distant howls draw your attention to the forest, which gets sparser and brighter. You spot boars, roe deer, and saurians. The sight of a nearby wolf pack worries you, but once you push your hips forward and your palfrey enters a canter, the beasts don't even begin a pursuit. The speed alone will protect you from any dangers. You notice a stone tower, taller than the trees. It must be the inn I've heard about. Inns like this one fit the regions traveled by merchants, but you wouldn't expect a place this size in a forsaken peninsula. The stone and lumber must have been transported from far away, and the workers, guarded by expensive mercenaries, surely lived for many seasons in a primitive hamlet, subsisting on salted supplies. While there were seemingly no cracks in the wall, and the building was whitewashed only a few years back, the road is wide and beaten. Dozens of souls could hide if not for the buildings. Dozens of souls could hide if not in the buildings, then at least in the yard. The expenses and labor put into this fortress were worth many trading ships. 3 armed people are on the ramparts, though you only see what's above their waistline. They're leaning on the parapet right next to the gate, and you think you notice a glimpse of a smile. They were gambesons, each of them dyed differently, yellow, green, and linen gray. I approach the gate. A woman in yellow armor leans forward. She has long, curly, disorderly red hair, pointing in every possible direction. This combination of colors doesn't work at all. In the woods, one would have to shout to draw this much attention. There's still a fair distance between the two of you, but she speaks loudly. I ain't seen a horse for years now. I just said it's weird to see such a large jackass, huh? Her voice is young and strong, with an accent that reminds you of the villages spread around Hovlavon. But no jackasses wear a saddle, I'd say. She exchanges a few words with the male guard wearing green, giving you time to move closer. Well, this one says there really are donkey saddles. Say, traveler, how hard is it to ride a horse? We could be friendly, we could be playful, we could be distant, we could be intimidating or vulnerable. Let's laugh, and you wouldn't believe it, the lessons were a pain. You get off your horse and imitate the silly walk from the day that followed your first journey, when your whole shell was crying. You illustrate the pain as you move your hand from your back to your hips to the thighs. In return, the guards tell you about that time they had to carry their friend with bitten off legs for 3 days straight through the heart of the woods. Meanwhile, the other guards open the gate. You may be in a good mood, the woman in the yellow jacket smiles at you, but don't get too noisy when you talk to our boss. The man never smiles. He has the world's suffering sculpted on his face. She leads you under the roof, under which your palfrey can rest, tethered with a cord to a wooden post near some old hay. Once you're ready, go inside and speak with our boss. Maybe you're hungry. The other guards take care of various chores. They peek at your mount every now and then as they're splitting firewood, cleaning their clothes, wading the garden patches, and moving chairs. 2 of them are making a rope. You head toward the inn, hearing the piercing scream of a boar from the other side of the yard. I open the door. New shelter unlocked. The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens up the hall. A muscular man is sweeping the floor. You're at an inn in the morning. You can spend the entire day on resting. I don't think I need to do that, though. But after he glances at you, he leans the broom against the wall and heads to the counter. You're lucky to show up. His voice is deep and soft, with a city-like accent. He observes you with keen attention, yet avoids your eyes. I have a keg of decent ale. Wormwood, bog myrtle, juniper berries, cat's foot. He fills the mug carefully and puts it on the countertop. It's going to spoil soon, today maybe. We don't drink here before the even. I hate to see the good stuff go to waste. His skin is dark, almost purple, rare even among the southern tribes, and his hair is naturally bluish. His clothes are quite fancy for manual labor. The elegant tunic wouldn't stand out in the city square. I stand at the counter. The planks let out a creak after every step you make, so as you slow down a bit, you could swear the innkeeper made little to no noise. Here you go. He pushes the mug forward. But just so you know, my pelt in the north doesn't belong to Hovlabon. You can sleep on the floor if you wish so, but if you want a better meal, you have to pay. We may have some leftovers from dinner, but I'd need to check. We could be friendly, playful, distant, intimidating, or vulnerable. Thanks to the drink, I see how you know how to make friends with a Roadwarden. Happy to help. No, they said I won't stay here for long. Not here to pay compliments, to piss in a mug. I'm a Roadwarden, I'm looking for answers. Intimidating hinted at the threat. We'll be distant. He nods and fills another mug, this time with water. I guess there's no point in waiting for a star in then. I'm glad to see someone taking his place. Even my crew here hits the road only if they see the healers of Howell's Dell, and they're more than resourceful. The Roadwarden is always going to find work here in the north, though maybe not on the eastern road. He takes a mouthful of water and drinks it with a pleased sigh. There are no guests here at the time, or hardly ever. I can take a short break. For a brief moment, he meets your eyes. Alright. I gotta go check on the child again, but I think she might have gone to sleep. So I'll be right back. We'll just turn on helping small, but I think she's asleep. Okay. Yeah, it sounds like the baby went to sleep. I'm happy about that. Okay. I am going to drink the ale. The dark room and wooden walls of the mug make the liquid look as brown as chestnut. The lee in spring hits your nose, and the first sip is even too complex, too flowery. While the brewer has used fancy ingredients, the exotic licorice ruins the aftertaste. Now you know why there's so much left. Maybe it takes an acquired taste. The innkeeper nods. I was hoping to see someone willing to patrol the roads. Maybe you'll help me with a worrying thought I have. Which is? There are brigands in the woods. Our place is a stronghold, so I'm not afraid of an open strike, but they've got more active in the last 2 years. One day they may steal our furs, and I've no doubt that the reason why merchants come here only once. Having bandits around gets expensive. He rubs his hands together, camouflaging his paws. I want you to reach Howler's Dell, northwest from here. It's the largest settlement around. I'm sure you'll get there sooner or later. Ask Thais, the mayor, about Glacia. That bloodthirsty woeful woman. I've heard rumors about a raid in the north. Glacia is ready to break the truce to the locals. I'm willing to join forces with him to get rid of her band. He looks to a nearby dragonbone. Not too difficult, right? Just do it. When you have a chance, a couple of days won't make much of a difference. I'll pay you 2 coins when you get back with the news. Fine. I nod, or I say 3. 3. He nods with a smile. What else do you need? I could eat something. Do you have any leftovers? What do you have for sale? Do you have anything you'd like to buy? I'm looking for a story in the previous Roadwarden. Do you have any leftovers? Yes, I feed them to a boar. I won't give them away for nothing. He tells you to wait, then leaves the building for a few minutes, returns with a wooden bucket and a long stick ending in a hook. Go through the gate and turn left. You'll see a bunch of bushes. We need some berries. Bring me a bucket full, you'll be done in half an hour or so. Your horse could use a nap anyway, and I'll prepare something to fill you. The hook is not made of metal or wood. It's a long, curved claw, almost black. Half an hour? That's quite a lot for berry picking. The tools are cold, not too heavy. You notice a pair of thick gloves at the bottom of the bucket. The berries are not a problem, the innkeeper smirks. Unlike the snakes. Better scare them away with a stick, or move them with a hook. And protect your hands. The little ones won't eat you, but don't get bitten. I'm sure you know how to be patient. I have other questions. I'm looking for a Astarian. Are you now? He goes to the table and invites you to sit down with him. I don't think I'm going to be much of a help. He rests his elbow on the table and grunts quietly to clear his throat. But I do want you to find him, so... When asked about his intentions, he measures his words. Astarian and I made a risky deal. Well, a very promising one. Last time he was here, he took 50 coins. My half of the investment. He knocks on the table with a fist anxiously. If you get my coin, or at least find out what happened to the guy, I'll make sure you won't be disappointed after bringing me the news. Could it be that Astarian stole the coins and ran away? He looks at a window and starts to play with a shutter. I just think Astarian ain't that kind of soul that would do such a thing. For him, it wasn't much of a fortune, and I'd say he'd earned my trust. Not only mine, you know. It's easy for a Roadwarden to make connections. He always had places to go, things to take care of. He rubs the table with his thumb, as if trying to clean an invisible stain. I've asked travelers. I sent a couple of my pals to find him. No real news. I know he stayed in White Marshes for a day and was meant to do something for the people there. It's a village in the northwest. Just stay on the main road until you reach the bogs, then enter them. You may get there before dusk. So let me know once you find anything, and we may yet return to this whole investment thing. I'll think about it. What can you tell me about the peninsula? What can anyone say? This place doesn't even have a name, unless there's an old book in an archive that no soul knows about. You know what I'd call everything from here to the coast? The hunting ground. He glances at your eyes. But it's not for us who hunt, keeping that in heart, the beasts in all shapes and forms. His words gain confidence slowly, which is strengthened by his deep voice. I've lived in this inn for over 10 years now, and I've only seen a couple of roads, a couple of places. It's just, once you get here, and you see how harsh it is to hit the road, you've only more reasons to stay at the warm stove behind a wall, even if it's suffocating. He looks toward the windows. I'm sure you've heard a lot lately, that the people don't build hamlets anymore. There are no more imbexes from the south, and the traders stay only for a few days. All our iron is used for cauldrons, not swords or tools. What will I find traveling west? Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Have you ever been to the northern coast? Traveling west. Well, there are hills nearby. Then you'll find a village. What's happening here? Hey, Katie! Playing Roadwarden. One of the games you got me on my birthday, actually. Yeah, we are playing Roadwarden, so it's a lot of narration in the making choices. Yeah, I'm enjoying it, actually. It's fun. It's an interesting little game. It's an interesting little game. It's kind of like it kind of feels like playing solo Dungeons and Dragons a little bit. Also a little bit like those old choose your own adventure books. Which I do actually have a bunch of choose your own adventure books. I can look down to my side and I see one on the floor beside me. Yeah, it is a neat game. So we're like we're a bit of a ways into it. How long have I been live? About an hour. We're about an hour into it. Hour 20. Yeah. But yeah, it's a good game. How you doing? And I'll keep reading. Wait. Well, there were hills nearby, and then you'll find a village. Maybe an hour away from here. It was destroyed by beasts almost a decade ago. Nothing to see there. The goblins live there now, so most people just travel around it. And they say it's haunted, but who knows? Who cares? He crosses his arms and starts to sway back and forth, gathering his thoughts. You'll get to a large tree on the edge of the swamp. For the locals, it's sacred. You're not used to hearing someone mentioning pagans as if there's nothing unusual about them. There's a small path south, which leads to an old mine in the mountains. Nothing to find there. But keep riding north, and you'll find Howler's Dell, set at a clean brook. Farmers live there, and Malflins and druids. They'll let you stay for a night, but they're not cheap. If anyone thinks my prices are bad, it means they ain't been to the Ape Ale Inn yet. He lets out a gentle smile. Man, not great, but that's to be expected with directing at this point, I think. Sorry to hear that. I'm going to smile politely. I know only a bit about the next settlement, Old Pagos. The soil there ain't too fertile, so they work in the quarry and help other settlements build things in exchange for crops. The forests and hills ain't too harsh, but the seekers have a small monastery nearby, in the mountains. I don't care much about them. They keep to themselves, and they don't pay well. The third village is unknown to me. White marshes, set at bogs. I've heard it smells like a griffin's lair. I've heard a lot of nasty rumors about the place, but I won't share them. I don't want to be a lie spreader. So, 3 villages, really. Howlers, the one near the monastery, whatever it's called, and marshes. Don't let their beds and palisades fool you, though. Weird people live there. Don't tell them more than you need to. You wonder if it's something he would tell other travelers as well. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Yeah, we'll do that. Are the eastern roads as rough as I've heard? Pretty much. Don't leave the main road, I'd say. Not so far from here you'll find an old dolmen. A few of my people had to spend a night there, and monkeys stole food and gauze from their bags. It was their fault. One of them had fallen asleep in the middle of his watch, but you know, the eastern forests are wild, the roads are rough. Almost no soul lives there. One day all these roads will be swallowed by the trees again. The furthest my team has ever gone was the home of the Enchantress. Just stay on track till you reach the crossroads, right near an abandoned watchtower. From there, turn east. You'll recognize the place. It's a nice home in a lonely meadow, surrounded by a wall. He looks toward the closed window, then at you again. Kind of like our walls, but simpler, without coating. She lives as an hermit. Eudocia. I don't even know how she survives there. But if you don't have decent coin, you won't find much there. So, back to the crossroads. If you turn left instead, you'll see a road. People stay away from it. It connects the tower and the monastery, a shortcut between the two sides of the peninsula. I was warned by the locals not to use it. It already belongs to the beasts. Have you been to the northern coast? I only know about another inn. It's far from here, maybe a day on foot, a bit less from the eastern side. His eyes once again focus on the floor. I've never been there, but I've heard it's a safe place. Close to villages, fishers and hunters, though I don't know much about them. That's all I need. I didn't expect to find an inn of this size in a place such as this. Ah, so you know a thing or two after all. His mocking tone is soon replaced by a gentle smile. It was built long before we arrived. It didn't work out well for the previous owners. Once the war ended, they left. Not enough travelers, bad trade, the villages stick to themselves. We, however, came prepared. Thou were prospered. When you asked about how they can afford all the supplies, he runs his fingers through his dark hair. I'm not against running an inn, but we don't rely on guests. We're the ones doing all the trading. My hunters are a clever bunch and stay safe in the forest. In exchange for furs, claws, and bones, we get what we need and more, both from the south and from the north. He relaxes on his chair. We have a good life here. We spent a whole lot on armor, crossbows, lumber, spears, but in another 10, maybe 20 years, we'll have enough savings to move to Hovlon and not work for another day of our lives. We take risks, but smartly. The team is stronger than ever, and I have big plans for us. Surprised to find a purple-skinned man so far in the north. Is there a good story behind the inn's name? I want to know that one. I mean, there's a story, but not a good one. He clears his throat. For years, I wanted to have an inn called Pelt, but in my city, it would be in bad taste. Taverns and inns named with a single word were cheap, had a nasty reputation. There was the Claw, the Mugger, Basilisk, and Blissful, I think. The good places use at least 2 words: Empty Barrel, a rose in a helmet, Empress's Smile. Pighead was the exception. It was a real dive. He chuckles. In my soul, it's still just Pelt. Pelts are what we came for, and what will make us reach our goals. Surprised to find a purple-skinned man so far in the north. I ain't seen a soul looking like this since my ma died. He shrugs. It's not a fascinating tale. Let's just say I wasn't part of the invasion, yet I'm glad it freed all those who were chained by the cities and their corsairs. He looks up at the wall. I'm Aeson, by the way, but I rarely hear the name. I would think it's Layson, but I'm pretty sure that's an I, not an L. Oh, maybe it is an L. Can't really tell, because if that's a capital L, it's a very, very small bit there. Might be Layson. About Glacia's band. He freezes, observing your hand silently. He wants me to get the answer from the mayor of Howlersdale. I'm on it. Any rumors worth sharing? He crosses his arms. I don't like to talk about people who ain't nearby, but you know what you're doing. What are you wondering about? Tell me about... Who are you asking about? Example, Empress. What do you mean? Are you trying to find her after all these years? He chuckles. The Empress is gone, and she will never be back. She's as dead as shit. Who are you asking about? Talia. I don't know them. Journal? Tulia. 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 I ain't seen Tulia in quite some time. Since her squad vanished in the fog, she's been careful. Glad to know she's alive. She's too inexperienced to lead others in battles, I think. He shrugs. Like most people, she needs to follow orders, but she already knows that. There's nothing worse than a fighter too stupid to limit their ambitions. Let's look at the journal. Tulia. Is it Layson? Lason? I'm going to type in Layson. It is. How about Jesus? I don't know them. Okay. How about Silas? Don't get awkward, Roadwarden. Starion. Oh, I must have spelled the name wrong. Asterion. Not a large man. Broad-shouldered, red hair and beard. Don't know what to say. Raises a muscled arm and places a hand on the back of his head. He was a fine fellow, but I doubt he's alive. He always tried to stay away from things, let's say. People knew him, but he didn't really have allies. Maybe the locals know what happened to him, yet decided not to help him. Or they wanted to get rid of him. He leans forward, looks at his boots. The Starion was a fine man. A quiet one, but not dumb. He hated me many times. Not for free, of course. And when he couldn't finish the job, it was for damn good reasons. And you know what? He looks you in the eyes. He was scrupulous, patient. I'd be shocked if he died because of some mistake of his. Maybe the bandits got to him. Why not? How about... I'm just going to type in a random name and see what comes up. Don't know them. Okay, let's change the topic. Do I have anything you'd like to buy? Do you have anything for sale? I can go pick up a few things for you. Some food for your travels to start with. Apples, nuts, sausage. Not too many at once. We need to maintain our supplies. I got an elk fur I don't need. Its buyer was caught by a pack of red wolves. Nice for a sleeping spot. Just as nice for a wall. An almost untouched bowl of soap. Priceless for a traveler. You can't tell if he's being sarcastic. Made of fine oak ash. Strong. Though you should have some better supplies before you start your own bathhouse. After you mention you like something more useful on these roads, he looks down. I don't have any blades or armor to spare, but if you pay well, you can take one of our crossbows and a bunch of corals. A yew-bow, wool cords, and the trigger needs just a little bit of oil. It's as good as you can get without soaking it in magic. Takes a bit of muscle to draw, but even a 16-year-old could handle it. I won't sell it cheap, but I'm ready to give a discount to a helpful ally. Okay. I could buy food rations and corals. I can't afford the crossbow. I could buy a box of soap. An oak-based balm that burns skin on long contact. I'm gonna buy this soap. Yeah. I'm gonna buy the soap. Okay. I'm gonna go outside. I go to the well. I should go outside and forage for berries. The innkeeper knew what he was talking about. He put on the gloves and looked through the bushes from a safe distance. It doesn't take long before you notice the first serpent lying on a rock somewhere in the thicket. The creatures are not that large, and even if some of them hiss at you or slither closer, the jabs of the hook keeps them at a distance. You don't know much about these berries. They are round and reddish. You wouldn't trust such a color even if you were looking for food in the wilderness. The plants don't have thorns, but the leaves are harsh, so you make sure to thoroughly cover your skin with your clothes. You have to look through many bushes to fill the bucket, but the presence of insects and snakes doesn't allow you to relax. I get that the berries go back to the inn. You return to the courtyard. Two of the guards are participating in a friendly skirmish. Their wrestling is accompanied by a crowd. I enter the inn. The locked windows make the air stuffy, and the weak fire in the stove hardly lightens the hall. The innkeeper is sitting at the stove, cleaning a set of metal tools and ladles. So, you again. Need anything? I put the fruits on the counter. Great. He peeks inside the bucket. I got cabbage stew with a few goose chunks for you. I'd serve it even to merchants, if there were any around. The meal is warm and filling. It is well seasoned and not overcooked. And like I've said, I rarely have food to spare, but feel free to ask if you ever stop by. You may be lucky, and I've been cooking my whole life. Nourishment. Thanks. And how did that old hook of mine work for you? I see you still have your hands. Give him the hook. I'm fine. Takes the tools from you and nods. Need anything else? That's all I need. I'll go outside. I'm gonna head to the armorer. You walk past the well and find a small open shed, not unlike the stable, but with a humble set of tables, carving tools, hammers, sharpening stones, pincers, knives, and other tools. As long as something can be solved by brute force, this place will find a way to do so. There are two people sitting on a long bench. The first one is a male with maybe an inch-long hair, clean-shaven face, thin, long yellow tunic, bare legs, and sandals. He ignores your presence, sewing up a gambeson with great concentration. The second is a boy, maybe 15, who is wearing the crude outfit of a farmer. He glances at you, but soon returns to sharpening a long dagger. Greetings. The man raises his head, but it's the boy who speaks, focused on his task. He ain't talking. Tell him what it is you need. The man smiles in confirmation, looks at the piece of garment in his hands, then looks around, shrugs, and returns to you with a raised eyebrow. Did you patch my clothes if they were torn? He shakes his head and points at the uneven seams on his own tunic, then grabs a crude bow needle and shows you its broken head. He wouldn't even if he had the tools, says the boy, but you can try on Howler's Den or Gale Rocks. Learning the trade, I see? Kind of, he answers reluctantly, but his teacher pats his knee, giving him a harsh look. The kid clears his throat. Yes, but we both ain't masters, you see. There's not a soul to teach us, so once I'm ready, I'll try hunting instead. Fetching things for others is boring. The man grunts a sound, but you don't understand it. Seeing your face, the boy chuckles. He said safe. Let's meet in the middle. Boring, but safe. The man nods. I'm in need of your services. He nods, points at the laces in the front of your jacket, raises his clenched fingers to his shoulder, then gently spreads and lowers them as if taking off a robe. You follow his command and allow him to promptly inspect your gambeson. After a few minutes, he gives it back, then reaches for his pouch. He pulls out one dragon bone, shrugs, then another one, and waves both of them in the air, pursing his lips. He makes a few speech-like noises with his empty mouth, groaning what sounds like, I don't know. I consider his offer. In 1 hour, your jacket will be carefully patched up for 1 gold. You know what? I would like it to be a little bit better off. Your jacket is as good as this armor can make it. Okay. I feel like this gambeson could use some adjustments. He nods enthusiastically, but then apologetically points behind him, at a smaller box filled with basic tools. He ain't that experienced as assistant. We do this and that, but only the simple things. I leave the shed. Okay. I'm pretty dirty. Let's go to the guards. Let's go to the well, actually. The recently renovated wooden roof covers the well from rain and birds. One of the guards is enjoying the cold drink he drew with a bucket, and tells you to only use as much water as necessary. The oak ash soap you own can help you get cleaner. You need 3 pieces of bathing equipment to get more out of this place. I wash my shell. Splashing yourself with cold water from a bucket won't take away your smell, but it's enough to remove the tallow and sweat from your skin or mud stains from your clothes. That's useful. I'll step away. Let's check with the guards. The woman in yellow armor is kneeling next to a brown, hairy boar, which is resting on its side. The beast is not as large as the dark ones from the forest. It responds to the touch of the human's hand and a brush with grateful grunting and rapid twitches of a hind hoof. No matter how friendly it appears, it's still tethered to the well, and you've no doubts that its charge would leave Sadal dead in a breath. When the woman notices you, she steps forward to the boar's disappointment. So, the new Roadwarden. She points to the window with her chin, forestalling the question. We don't need anything now, but when we travel with our furs, we can use some assistance. She may be around 30, but her warm voice and bright smile are camouflaging the touch of time on her unpowdered face. Like many red-haired people with freckles, her skin is unhealthily pale. Can you relate with that, Katie? The boar runs up to her, observing your boots and fruitlessly sniffing for food beneath the beaten ground. She pats its back, but maintains her focus. How about a game or two? We have a bit of time and can talk a bit about this and that. I don't know what to say. Maybe you'll get a couple of coins or lose one. She winks. You can play dice or throw axes at a target. I don't really have time. Right, kinda thought so. Her smile disappears. She returns to the other guards. Roadwardens are always busy, ain't they? Better hope you'll have a day of rest sometime. I want to know about the berries. She chuckles. So I heard. Don't worry about it. Usually we forage by ourselves, but he wouldn't ask you for a dragon for a meal. He gives small jobs to people all the time, just to see who agrees to do them. Wants to judge who's a use and who's too proud for their own good. Have you ever been at the heart of the woods? We sometimes hunt south from here. There are good hunting grounds in the western half. The second one is too overgrown. Maybe the soil's different. She shrugs, then moves the hair away from her forehead. It's a risky spot. There are treants there and wolves, even the furless ones. If you don't go through the tall grasses, watch out for what's on the ground. There ain't many archers in the trees. She smiles as if it's a joke, but there are all too many worms, even larger than a water leech. Okay, tell me about yourself. Oh, what was that? After a brief giggle, her voice gets cold and serious. Nah, Roadwarden, we use names and stories among friends. You ain't one. Don't make me tempt curses. Okay. I have some questions about this place. There's an unusual tower. I'd expect it to be closer to the gate and shorter. Like in Havlavan? Fair, but it ain't here to protect the gate. The stronghold was built long before we moved in, not to fight off humans. The tower was meant to be used by those who observe the deep forest. We look out for fires, dragons, and any winged creatures that are looking to roost on the roof. Baldy, she notes towards the man, who indeed is completely bald, has a great eye and sees even well in the darkness. Your group seems to be quite attached to the boar. How could you not be? She crouches and raises the boar's head, but it steps away and squeals as if someone's murdering it. It came with us from the city, just in case. We had no clue how our first winter would go, so we needed some backup meat. And it works too. Cleans the dirt. She reaches out to the beast again, but it trots away. The woman straightens up with a pleased sigh. We haven't needed to eat it so far, but it's also funny. I learned in my home village that the farm boars are getting a bit smaller and more cuddly, kind of like ibixes. It's not such a wild, dangerous beast, but we don't let it get close to other animals or children. Any interesting creatures? Here? Everything lives here. She flips her hair. I swear, we saw a few dragons, a unicorn family, a battle between trolls and goblins, face 2 beastmen, and a gargoyle, and a hunted queen shouts all the time. I could tell you all about them, but I won't. She winks and pats the boar on his head. You know, hunters have their secrets. What do you usually hunt for? Anything we can eat or sell. If there's a partridge, a squirrel, or a rat, we don't complain. But when we move as a group, we look for something larger. Deers and aurochs are delicious, but we don't always look for taste alone. There's value in bones, antlers, claws, tusks, things people use to make tools or sculptures. We use some of them to make tools and spears. You can never have enough spears. She pauses and looks at the strand of her hair, then suddenly speaks up again. And we look for furs, of course. Why can I find north? I'm sorry, we don't really go to those regions. We stay close to home, only sometimes move south or west, to Howler's Dell, but only to trade. They're fine with buying more than they need, since then they take the wares to the coast. She takes a long breath, twirling her hair and gathering her thoughts. You know what? I've never even seen a beach. I've been living here for how many? More than 10 years now. She giggles. Only part of the sea I've ever seen was from Old Pagus, which is placed on a hill. I've never put a toe in salt water. She looks towards another huntress who confirms that her experience is the same. But Old Pagus is a good place, as long as you don't mock their order and act nice. They'll also be kind. Boss says they're too serious for him to stand them, but at least they don't bite without a reason. Have you heard about the necromancers? It's something new, her voice lowers to a whisper. I've never been to White Marshes, but over the years we've seen people moving away from there, south. They told us the place has changed too much. The priest died, I think, and the new one awakens the dead. Sorry, Roadwarden, that's all I know. If she's hiding something, she sounds convincing. Thanks. Looking for knowledge about wild creatures. Well, I told you our knowledge is valuable. I don't know. She looks at the boar, which seems to be obsessed with a clump of grass. 15 dragons, no less. Any discount for friends? Well, depending on the friend, she gives you a radiant smile. Let's say 15. If that's too much for you, maybe ask me after you spend some time around. Show us what you're capable of. And play test with us when you have an hour to spare. These folks here, she starts to whisper, they crave gossip. I don't want to throw coin. Let's travel. Let's go to the west. The road uphill meanders, slowing you down and forcing you to pay close attention not only to the shadows of the trees, but also the tight, rocky passages. You can't help but notice a few caves and fine ambush spots. I keep an eye out for any sign of life. You enter the ruined village. Standing in front of the gate, you hear no voices, no tools at work, no steps. Dozens of birds live among the collapsed roofs, their fluttering, singing, and squawking is free of worries. If you want to travel any further, you need to ride around the palisade. Searching the ruins may take a lot of time. The broken gate in the north will lead you to the village. The sound of a gentle river reaches you from the east, where you see a saggy fence surrounding an overgrown pasture. Behind the burnt building in the east, you see an oddly barren field. You know what? This is a good place to save. This is a good place to quit and to continue another time because it is a little late and I need to get ready for bed. Yeah. Boo. It's after midnight, Katie. You know what? You want to imagine getting rest. Yeah, imagine. Imagine dragons. Imagine dragging these nuts. All right then. Oh. Let's see. Bruh. Okay. We are going to, you know what? We can go bother slightly. Let's go bother slightly. Imagine getting rest. Imagine! Yes, I'm going to get rest, you know? I want to get some sleep. Okay. We'll go bother Zomjay. So she's not Zomjay. Slightly. Who's streaming with Zomjay and Ark, I think. Yeah, I need to sleep. Lame. You're lame. Lame! Katie, you're lame! We will continue this game another time, I think. Probably next week. Because, you know, I mean, this week I'm going to be gaming with Escott, and then on Friday I've got 2 tabletop games. Saturday morning is Panopticon, and that's going to be exciting, because that's the, Twitch redeems make shit happen in the game. So that's, I'm really looking forward to that. And then Saturday evening is Lana actually got sponsored by some party game. They gave her a bunch of keys, so gonna be playing that with her and some other people. So that should be fun. And yeah, that's the week ahead. So I'm gonna head out now. See ya. Bye bye.